Anger and rage fuel tinnitus, in my experience. If we have a lot of unprocessed baggage inside our system, if we've been treated unfairly in the past, or if we've been abused along the way, or people have been inappropriate with us, it is very common to have a lot of rage, this very, very intense, indiscriminate, powerful emotion in our system, or we can carry a charge of anger, which is very reactive, very feisty, fiery. Our nervous system really flares up with the rah of anger and rage. They're different emotions, but they're both very, very common with tinnitus. And as a practitioner, for example, one of my aims is to help people let go of tinnitus, because when I let go of my tinnitus, I thought, well, I can help other people let go of theirs. And so I'm quite outspoken, and I say how I work with people very deliberately, because I want to share my experience with others, so that if it resonates with your experience, then maybe you can help yourself get better. But there are a lot of people in the tinnitus community that are very angry and full of rage. And so, not surprisingly, they sometimes roar at me, and I'm learning gradually not to take it personally, but it isn't easy being attacked or having somebody's anger or rage directed at you. I don't think anybody finds it easy. So instead of saying, I don't believe you, which is fair enough, I have my own experience. If they haven't experienced it, why on earth should they believe it? But other people may resonate and think, yes, that's like my experience. And then they get interested and they get on the path to letting go of tinnitus. But sometimes, instead of saying, I don't believe you, people with anger or rage will say, I think you should be locked up, or I want to kill you, or basically dumping their stuff onto another person, because they can't contain it themselves. So it just comes flying out of their nostrils like a dragon and blasts the other person. And they can't see that it's actually their own stuff that they need to work on. So if I'm in the marketplace and I'm selling apples, and somebody comes along and said, I want oranges, you should be put in prison. It's silly, really. So really, the thing about anger and rage is that it fuels tinnitus. It's very, very activating for the nervous system. And guess what? If we hang out in a furious state of rage, our nervous system actually feels very threatened by this, and we go into fight or flight, and literally the perceptions become hypersensitized. And so we can be very defensive and can be very aggressive and attacky, and people can come up to us and that can really go in and have a huge effect, and everything is horribly sensitive, horribly aggressive, and it's like being in a war zone, just walking down the street buying some oranges. It's really, really crucial that people who have a lot of anger and rage in their system, if you want to let go of your tinnitus, the prognosis really gets much better if you can start to work through your anger and rage in therapy, or finding some safe outlet for it. There's a lot of thought that it's not healthy to fuel your anger too much and let it rip too much, because you're just kind of subconsciously giving yourself permission to be aggressive and blast your anger out. I think a much deeper and more fruitful approach is to be allowed to be angry, to experience your stuff, to know what it is, where it comes from, and then to sit with it, preferably with a therapist helping you, and to just let it pass through. This may take a while, but if you really look into the depths of anger, it normally points to fear. somebody's really overstepped the mark or done something completely mindless or that's unloving, and is very dangerous and unsettling. And if you can get into the depth of this fear and find yourself and really get in touch with what's going on inside yourself, with good therapy, you can see through to the kind of emptiness that there's nothing there underneath. It's just a lot of energies. So my advice is to really turn towards your anger and rage, get to know it, help digest it, process it in therapy, and ideally let this patterning, this reactivity, this pass through your system. In good therapy, that's something that's very achievable, and it will really help everything settle and pipe down and feel centered again.